Another day, another game. So let's jump straight into it. We have currently to the top right DeathNote playing as human on Concealed Hills, and he goes up against an Undead player. Down to the bottom of the map, we have Lex. And both of them are actually rocking the European ladder pretty well right now. On Northrend, we're having Lex on level 30. And that guy has 150 wins and 60 losses. So pretty decent win ratio, sitting at 71% on level 30. And then you're looking over to DeathNote, definitely one of the stronger human players that we have on Northrend. He's currently at level 35 with 171 wins on this account and only 40 losses. So an 80% win ratio here for him. Pretty fantastic stats actually. We're going to find out how this game is going to go for them. Last game that we actually commentated ended a little bit abruptly. Once the Satini left against Enna, WarCraft client crashed immediately. I hope that we're not going to struggle with that during the game here. And hopefully not towards the end either. But yeah, if I'm suddenly gone, you know why. So, okay, let's see how this is going to work out here. First of all, Lex starting with the Death Knight down to the bottom left. As you can see here, like Tomb and Crypt, so not going into any kind of early Fiend shenanigans. Even against Human, you see a lot of Undead players relying heavily on Fiends. One, for example, White and Nerdy, opens up quite aggressively with Fiends against human players too. And his Fiend micro is actually absolutely excellent. It's pretty interesting that especially in the new patch and with all those former pros coming back, there's a lot of players that start to experiment a lot more with strategies, with opening up with a different hero. I talked about Madfrog, for example, who plays quite a bit of Dreadlord first, depending on the matchup he plays, which is really interesting, and is also investing more heavily into a Ghoul Garg style, because he personally just doesn't like to go up against something like Fiends in general. He doesn't like to play that particular style. So for the game here, let's see how this is going to work out. Again, Concealed Hills, scouting is already on the way here, with at least on one side. Footman for the human player has been sent over. And now from the Death Knight's perspective, it's just a question, okay, how exactly is he going to play this? Now we see a lot of Undead players that early on in the game focus more so on getting a quick level 2, trying to get the Unholy Aura, and then go into more of a harass pattern against their opponent. But especially if you want to play a very aggressive style, you can just try and interrupt the creep pattern of your opponent continuously. Use the coil to snipe a couple of structures. And we have even our commitment with a very aggressive opening here. Coil to the face of the Archmage immediately, and we have a few ghouls with his attack as well. So a highly aggressive opening that we're currently seeing on the side of Lex. And looking into his main base, still focusing heavily on ghouls. Currently still sitting with 3 in the base, 4 actually, and having 2 being built before he attacks straight into the Necropolis. So a ghoul-heavy opening for him, 6 ghouls before he starts his tech into tier 2, and starting aggressively to try and interrupt the creep pattern that we're seeing from DeathNote. So for the time being, just attempting to take a few of the spots away from his opponent. And DeathNote already got his first item and some experience, has the Gloves of Haste here, and is not really committing to anything just yet, so that gives some experience and items over to Lex. And this is actually pretty decent for him. Has already the Sentry Ward, so that gives him good vision, and he's immediately present when the Creep Jack is needed, since we're seeing the human player focus for the expansion right away. Militia sent over, pressure on the Archmage again, forcing him out already. The first ward on the ground, and now just a matter of time. Is that Orga Magi gonna fall? Is that coil gonna hit in time? And no, he actually messes it up. He gets the item, the Ring of Protection +2, but really nice move here from DeathNote, making sure that he just interrupts the damage output for 1 second, and the Death Knight gets baited into an early coil and just ruins that play here. Nice play with the gold mine, actually. I'm really liking this. DeathNote with a couple of cool moves here early on to save those peasants for as long as he possibly can. The Archmage is still being chased here the entire time, but of course up here we're seeing the ghouls also suffer. Really, really cool play here from both of them, especially DeathNote though, making sure that he doesn't lose too many peasants, plays extremely well around the gold mine, the pattern of attack that he used against the Orga Magi also allowing him to get the experience for his Archmage, did not go over to the Death Knight, and the DK therefore, not even on level 2 yet. Doesn't have the Unholy Aura, so really annoying for him right now to deal with that, but of course the fast attack is going to help him for sure. And again, Undead wants to take very, very quickly into tier 3. It's a replenishment potion, has his level 2 right now, And we're seeing in the main base, of course, the Graveyard coming into play too. But especially with Undead these days, you want to get that Orb of Corruption as quickly as you can for your Lich that we mostly see as the second hero. You want to make sure that you also have the Slaughterhouse, that you get your statues out there, which allows you for so much more sustain. No tech in the main base of the human player yet. Keep that Sentry Ward also in mind. That's, of course, fantastic asset right now in the hands of Lex. DeathNote needs to be a bit careful here in the long run, because that vision is going to allow for quite a bit of nice attacks here from Lex if he times them properly. But in the meantime, we're having the Archmage, of course, creeping as well, and he is level 3 right now, has double Gloves of Haste, which definitely helps with the damage output too, but that level 2 Water Elemental in particular is going to be fantastic. And we've been talking about vision, and now with the vision that he has, he knows that there is no upgraded tower yet, so the ghouls are immediately starting to move in here, and we have actually Dark Ranger second now on the side of Lex, so can try and play this immediately just with a bit of skeleton pressure. The TP back already used. There was a bit of an attack attempt on the side of the human player, trying to force the Undead in a defensive posture. That didn't quite work out, and yep, there we have it. First skeletons are already being summoned here thanks to the Dark Ranger. Lex is trying to apply the pressure right now. Take down those footmen. Take those units down. Get the skeletons in and just overrun your opponent. And one ghoul down already. Footmen not falling earlier. And now with the militia starting to move in, Lex has to move back for now. So DeathNote is holding on to his own base here in the main base, teching to the keep. Loses the footman after all to the skeleton. But the main attack is at least for now thwarted. So moves back. But we have him also with a huge amount of gold, actually. Sitting at 800 right now on 36 supply. Still trying to get those towers into play. Especially, of course, with the Scout Tower. Once you have that Arcane Tower upgraded, it's much, much easier to just drain your opponent's mana, or at least do the extra damage against the summonings. And that's something that he has to be looking for. But, of course, looking towards Lex, who's currently sitting at 31 supply. That Slaughterhouse that we talked about earlier is in production. We have the Halls of the Dead upgrading into the Black Citadel. And even a double Spirit Tower here, since the earlier attack from the human player was something that got a bit annoying, so made sure that he was well equipped from the defensive perspective. Town Ball let it be used by the Archmage to defend the attack, hasn't bought it back yet, didn't venture towards the shop here, but the continuous attacks that we are seeing from the Death Knight and the Dark Ranger are trying to apply even more pressure. Now, one of the big advantages, of course, if you go into a Dark Ranger over a Lich, is that you have it a lot faster accessible to you after you complete your tier 2 tech. And that was one of the ideas here behind the push from Lex in the first place. Get a very, very quick second hero, apply pressure, use the Dark Ranger, and then attempt to just drop as many of those peasants as you can. Get, thanks to the Dark Ranger, skeletons into play, maybe a few footmen, and then overwhelm your opponent. And to be honest, as an idea, it was actually pretty cool, but it didn't really do quite as much damage as he was probably hoping for. And by now, we're also having a bit of a switchback. Good creep here with the ghouls only. Gonna get a circlet for himself as well. And in terms of units, we now have even Crypt Fiends joining the fun. But of course, when we're looking over towards his opponent, looking over towards DeathNote, by now the Mountain King is actually being produced. Have even the Goblin Zeppelin here to allow him a few more plays. Potion of Invulnerability, if that Archmage eventually gets around to grab it, and he does. But those level 3 or level 2 Water Elementals definitely help for the time being. He gets the item, and he gets some of the experience. So even with the items that he just bought, getting the Scroll of Healing and the Scroll of Protection, it was more of a successful endeavor for DeathNote than one might think. Still, some of the experience goes over to the Undead, who now finally hits his level 3 for the Death Knight, so the Coil on 2 is going to be important here. But still, from an experience perspective, not too bad for DeathNote at all. And DeathNote sitting at 43 supply, didn't really hit the cap just yet on 50. Even a bit of a surround attempt here. Doesn't quite work out. Oh, tries to get the coil in. Another hit from the Dark Ranger. Not enough damage though, so he can't get the additional skeleton and doesn't drop the footman just yet. Turnaround attempts though, and keep in mind, we talked about the Mountain King, and that guy is now in play. No Boots of Speed yet for either one of these heroes though. Something that he might want to change eventually. But still that attack pattern here from the Undead, as we used to. Using that Unholy Aura, moving in and out, using just that speed advantage. Immediately going for the Fiend here in the back. Coil saving it for now, but that Mountain King has a couple of additional Storm Bolts left if he really wants to. Yep, Storm Bolt number 2 comes in, and now the Water Elemental damage immediately. Another Coil for another day. Footman goes down, another skeleton joining the fun, and all of a sudden the Mountain King is in trouble. Muradin, where are you going on now? Yeah, that is not looking pretty. Completely surrounded here. Tries to get a bit more damage through. No town portal to pass over either. The Fiend's still alive, but that MK is not going to make it. Goes down, and that's a great kill for Lex right now. Death Knight with even more XP. We're having the Dark Ranger on 2.5. Getting one hit in after another against the Footman. Trying to spawn those additional skeletons. Now the Archmage has to be careful too. Did have the Potion of Invulnerability. Didn't pass it over to the Mountain King. And I actually think completely correct decision here from DeathNote. Sacrificing the level 1 hero after it was surrounded. Dropping a complete Potion of Invulnerability compared to the lesser for a level 1 hero. Probably not really worth it for him here in the long run. But now, of course, a bit more of a map control aspect for Lex. And he's trying to use it to get the additional experience here. Here comes the Coil and the Nova attempt. And gets the Potion of Greater Mana. Ah! Nice timing here. Fantastic. Once again, the Potion of Invulnerability is saving the old man on the horse. Job well done. But yeah, that Potion of Greater Mana that you just found was fantastic for Lex. Now we have the Lich as the third hero after the completed tier 3 tech onto the Black Citadel and the army for the Undead as well. And of course the Orb of Corruption. So heavy aggression through triple hero. The Mountain King is back to business, but compared to what we're seeing on the Undead side, that bad boy is still a little bit low in threat potential. Big creeps now as well, also coming in. With all the map control, we're seeing the Orgolord fall. Khadgar's Pipe of Insight. Jesus, Lex is really putting out the items right now. Having Khadgar's Pipe here, the Brilliance Aura for himself on level 1 is going to be an absolute fantastic play. Here comes again the nuke on the Archmage. Barely able to mitigate that. Eats the Potion of Healing. But yep, that nuke potential from Lex is insane right now. DeathNote starting to struggle, but the surround on the Lich. And all the damage comes in. The Death Knight cannot get the coil out in time. And that's a dead third hero. Statue is falling as well, and with all the Spellbreakers that we're now having on the side of DeathNote, all of a sudden he's starting to apply the pressure himself, draining the mana of the Undead heroes and dropping the Lich immediately here. The castle tech also completed. We're seeing the first knights in play, and with the item gone, there's still experience left for him, and he takes it. Straight moves in with the army, but he needs to try and make sure that he creates those heroes up. He has the Archmage on level 4, and that's great. Staff of Sanctuary also in the inventory, but we still need for the human player now more experience for the Mountain King, who finally hits level 2, and the Paladin, who came in third. Comparing the levels here, we're having the Death Knight, not quite on 4 yet, but at least the Dark Ranger is making headway here. Level 3 for her, so getting a little bit more dangerous. And of course, he is still creeping extremely well here, moving from one spot to the next. That might be a little bit risky, considering that he just spotted the human player as well. And another Stormbolt, the Lich on the way back. Oh, that couldn't be worse. No surround, though. Doesn't get the surround here. A little bit of a Monka-ass moment here from DeathNote as he hits the Stormbolt, but is not able... Oh my god! He doesn't get the Lich, but he gets the Dark Ranger. And Lex immediately saying like, yeah, I'm not sure how that happened right now. Now he escapes with the Lich after the Lich was trying to catch up with the rest of the Undead army and moves him back, but then the Dark Ranger decides to go a little bit for a solo stroll on the map, and that did not work out for her. Walking straight into the human army, definitely not the proudest moment of the Dark Ranger here. Google Maps was needed there. That was definitely not the path you wanted to take. So yeah, Dark Ranger down, and I mean, it's getting really annoying here for Lex, because he's in a situation where he's always down one hero. That means he can't really fight. So he has to give this one up to Claws of Attack plus 12. Easily handed over towards the Archmage. That bad boy is already shooting like a machine gun with the double gloves of haste that he has. Now you already have the plus 12 attack damage on top of that too. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of damage output for him. More creeping going on for his opponent too, though. Lex is sitting at 50 supply, and he has Khadgar's Pipe. He even finds the Scourged Bone Chimes here. Fantastic now that he transitions into Abominations. So from an aura perspective, this is like an Undead's wet dream come true. Triple aura being played by him here. The Unholy Aura, the Vampiric Aura, on also the Brilliance Aura. But we are seeing DeathNote expanding over and over again. DeathNote is now using that map advantage, or that advantage in terms of map control that he has. flying machines for him, trying to get the gyrocopters out there to make sure that he is just wrecking every single destroyer that could possibly appear. Another workshop being built, 73 supply for him. Just look at the amount of money that guy has to. Has still no potion, still no Throne of Town Portal, if I'm not mistaken. Paladin is also lacking a couple of items. Mountain King still holds the claws. It's not quite what you want. You really want to make sure that the Archmage has that, especially since he's already holding those 2 gloves of haste. The damage output from a ranged hero always better with these auto attacks than you could have from a melee hero that oftentimes gets blocked at the front here. But with all the money he has, I would really like him to pick up a Scroll of Town Portal, get a couple of Scrolls of Healing in maybe as well. Like, he can definitely go shopping right now. Like, he could go on a bit of a buyer spree. And in the meantime, DeathNote just builds bases all over the map. Like, he's playing StarCraft 2 at this point. He's just, like, expanding everywhere. That's a Zerg right there, if you've ever seen one. And now we're having finally that little shopping spree that we've been talking about for the human. Gets the Scroll of Town Portal, Scroll of Protection, Scroll of Healing for him. Even starts shopping with the Mountain King now too. Another Scroll of Healing, the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, great for the front. Would still like to see... Yeah, gives the claws over. Okay, awesome. There we have it now. So, better late than ever. Gets that in, and... Yep, here we actually have taking control of the Dark Minion. Alright, Spellbreaker power. Got buffed a little bit. And that's definitely one play that you can make with them. 75 supply right now. I mean, DeathNote holds this game. DeathNote currently against Lex is looking fantastic here. Look at that on that player. He's up against an opponent who's sitting on 4 bases right now, and he himself at 69 supply is 1-basing it. Now there's of course one aspect that we still have to talk about. We have 5 Acolytes, that's 5 supply in your economy, whereas just simply the worker lines here are already 20 supply for the human. And that's only the gold worker line. That's completely ignoring any kind of peasant that could still be on wood. Of course, there's by now also a shredder in play. But that's a lot of supply just in your economy. So the army supply for the human player is going to be a bit lower than that. And I really like the attempt here to go for a harass with a few units on the side. Really? Fair enough. Town portal being used. Going a little bit overboard, I'd say. But then again, if he takes all of those ghouls down, it's still an investment that's worth it. Ghouls with 120 that they cost. So yeah, town portal for 3-4 ghouls. That's a good trade. The problem is that he doesn't have another town portal. Has to actually head over with the Archmage to get another one. And that's a little bit of time lost. And the Undead player immediately says like, dude, if you TP for that, I'm gonna use that time frame and immediately start attacking. But it went maybe a bit too late here. Necros as well. Didn't even see those. How awesome is that? Necros in play for Lex. And we are seeing Skeletal Mages coming in. Scroll of Protection as we have DeathNote pushing in. Paladin on 2 is a bit in trouble. DeathNote not on 5 just yet. So the coil still on level 2. And down goes the meat wagon that supplied a lot of these corpses. Talking corpses, that Archmage is dead. Goes down here. The counter kill attempt against the Lich, and he's successful. Stormbolt and the Holy Light. But now we're having also the Paladin in trouble. And there was an Ankh in play, and the Lich is back. Lich back to business. Needs that coil though. Gets it just in time. But what a massive fight now between the two here. Another Stormbolt, another Holy Light, and down goes the Lich. The Paladin hits level 3. We have 2 heroes on each side still in play. The Dark Ranger not hitting level 4 just yet, but just look at that human army. So many skeletons right now. The army of the dead is rushing through the human, and the Mountain King bites the dust as the Death Knight hits level 5. What a play here from Lex. Cripple used on the Knights, and they are not getting away anytime soon. Staff of Sanctuary being used here. But there's still a level 3 coil to consider for the Death Knight. And what an attack here by Lex. Still fighting with his 1 base. Level 4 finally also on the side of the Dark Ranger. But now we're having all those skeletons starting to make their play here. And it is time for the Necros to rise. A few still left in the mix. 4 here buys back the Lich as well. He knows he needs to ride the momentum at this point. If he gives DeathNote too much time to recuperate, then he is just going to rely on the massive income that he has and is going to ride this game out. Lich on 3, Dark Ranger on 4, Death Knight on 5, and on the other side we're having a level 4 Archmage, a level 3 Paladin, and a level 3 Mountain King right now. 72 supply for DeathNote. Mass scrolls for him again. tries to make sure the D has to sustain in the fight here. And in the meantime, wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of priests being thrown in the mix here as well. Yeah, priests, dispel, try and get that as quickly as you can to take those skeletons down. But for the time being, with the meat wagons again, and also, of course, a couple of additional corpses here. He's just trying to take these bases down. Base number 2, retraining on the Archmage with everything that we're seeing here. 4 Lex, it's all about that Blizzard now, that AoE damage, trying to get that in, and a mass amount of summoning units. And the big problem that we're seeing right now for DeathNote is he just doesn't have enough Dispel. He doesn't have enough here. He's getting some, but this is a massive amount of undead units here. And again, the mining is gone. One base is already down. The one to the left side has been taken out by him. And here comes again the attempt of the human player to somehow just like stem the tides. But it's going to be a massive problem. The Mountain King just happily clapping away. And immediately the Blizzard has a follow-up with the AoE damage. But still the human player on the retreat right now, trying to move away from this massive army that is taking him down here. And of course, relying on those heroes. Keep that Stormbolt and Holy Light in mind, though. Oh, the level 3 coil! The Archmage goes down! Nothing in the inventory. No Staff of Sanctuary on the other heroes to just portal him out there. And therefore, the AM dead once again. Where are those potions of lesser invulnerability that he needs right now? Against the level 3 coil, it is just such a must-have. Again, the Nova coming through. Heal on the Mountain King, keeping him in play. No mana for him. And the cripple against the Knights. Again, Lex is trying to take them down here. Drop those Knights. Rebuy on the Archmage. Of course, he has the money, but he's gonna run out of it eventually if he just wastes it like that. He needs more potions of lesser invulnerability. Staffs of Sanctuaries would be great here too, as the Mountain King goes down. Coil Nova to the face, and another dead hero as the Death Knight is on 5.5. The Lich is coming closer to level 4 as we speak. More Necromancer coming in. Whoever said you can't play Necros? They go down, but they summon still a ton of units here. And as we said, there's just not enough priests. DeathNote got hit by that attack out of nowhere. Level 5 Archmage brought back once again. The Blizzard in the backline. A dead Lich too. And this is just an absolute carnage here that we're seeing. Still 2 heroes available for the Undead, who's sitting at 43 supply, but he doesn't have a lot of mining left here. Trying to expand at the bottom right now, as we're having the Death Knight closing in on level 6. The base over here destroyed. An expansion attempt on the side of Lex. Still DeathNote with his Town Hall here was never destroyed, but he never started mining for him again either. What an insane game here already. I mean, we are really seeing some fun stuff happening right now. But in the main base, no more income. And that also means that he can't buy the Lich now. He cannot buy the Lich. We're seeing a bit more mining happening on the left side, as again Lex is trying to take down the base of DeathNote. But here comes the Paladin. And of course, with all those skeletons, if you actually are able to get a few dispels in, you get a ton of experience, and that's what he's hoping for right now. Death Knight needs to be cautious though. Really low upgrade for the Dark Ranger. Death Pact being used. DK, of course, can heavily rely on all of those skeletons now with the Death Pact. Has to call the Dark Ranger again. And here comes that surround. The Dark Ranger goes down, and that's another big kill. Death Note of 5.5 right now. Let's look at that Paladin. 4 for him, and again with the Dark Ranger fallen, only the Death Knight survives. He's nearly on level 6. He is level 6, has the ult there. Again the Blizzard in the back, but the DK has to move into the back line. He's just way too low, but we have a massive army here nonetheless. Aura now on level 2, went for the ultimate actually, didn't go into his unholy aura on the next level, and another big staff happening here with the stack coil comes through, but still 31 supply only on the side of the Undead player. 44 for DeathNote. He still has the income. He has the money here, but he's also running out of bases, to be honest with you. This is one of them that he has been heavily reliant upon, and by now we only have a mining from 1 base up to the top. No, we don't! He actually mined that too! He doesn't have any income, and the Undead player at the bottom right still has a haunted gold mine. So once again, we're seeing DeathNote starting to move in. He wants that Death Knight, of course. He wants to take him down. He wants to save his base first of all, and immediately again with the Divine Shield here. And the Mountain King is back as well. He will have to TP. There is no way Lex can sustain through all of this. This is just not happening anymore. He doesn't have the army. 47 supply against 31. The Death Knight moving out, and that is DeathNote holding on to his Town Hall on the left side. If that one would have fallen, I think it would have been game here right away. Jesus. Paladin nearly level 5, Mountain King 4, Archmage closing in on level 6. But I'm actually scared shitless of that Paladin at that point in time. If that guy is able to get level 5, the Holy Light alone is going to be an absolute beast to deal with, because that is going to nuke those Undead heroes quite easily. That base, on the other hand, is still not scouted. Lich is back. Lich is back. Nearly level 4 for him. And keep in mind, with Lich falling, another problem that you have is that he also lost Khaldor's Pipe of Insight. He's now also retraining the Dark Ranger. All the skeletons still moving in to take down more peasants. And here comes the rest of the human army. Lex at 45 supply right now. And we're still having more creeping. Creeping at this point of the game, of course, it doesn't necessarily give you a massive amount of experience. It gives you some, but even if you have all your heroes already on level 5 and you don't get any experience through it, you still get gold, you get items that you can either sell or maybe even use. So we are seeing DeathNote just focusing heavily on that. Staffing with the Staff of Sanctuary for heals, no mining to the left side, the skeletons did enough with that. A little bit of scouting going on from Lex here now too, as he's trying to find out what else does my opponent have, and that's just amazing. Mana Stone, that's a great item at this point. Fantastic item for him. Has the Belt of Giant Strength too, that makes the Paladin nearly unkillable. 47 supply for DeathNote. 3 upgrades, by the way, all those Spellbreakers, and starting to have some income again. But we're having more skeletons on the way, continuously being sent over by his opponent, as we're having now also Lex trying to creep down to the bottom right. Moves straight in for the Gargantuan Sea Turtles here. Tries to get something. Let's see. Has the Scroll of Town Portal. That Lich, by the way, with 10 extra damage. Khaldor's Pipe of Insight. Gloves of Haste. And now, as we're seeing the skeletons again attacking the worker line, we have the creep jack happening down here. Mountain King, level 4 for him, level 5 on the Paladin, and that spells trouble. Down goes the first Necromancer. He's trying to get more. A little bit of a body block attempt here by Lex, but that fight is just getting absolute bonkers. The base he knows about, he knows it's there, and in the meantime, the Death Knight, of course, had to TP out, had to use the Town Portal. None left for him. Has the Dark Ranger back to business, and here we go. Starting to move in with the attack against the last remaining base that the Undead has. Death Note on 47 supply, 55 supply for his opponent, and those skeletons still working on the base here, sent over continuously. I'm absolutely loving that he doesn't give up on that. He always sends that over, makes sure that he has someone harassing that worker line. He knows that's the last income that Death Note has, but Death Note not deterred at all, still focusing on the fight here. Stormbolt, clap on the Death Knight. Death Knight has nothing, has a Death Pact though, and could use it, but the immediate attempt to snipe the Mountain King. Coil Nova and the Silence rattling through the army as we see the Spellbreakers focusing on the DK, trying to drain the mana here, trying to drain him as quickly as they can, and the triple heroes on the side of the human player now starting to move in again, trying to give the Undead a taste of his own medicine. The Coil saving the Dark Ranger, but for how long? Here comes the Stormbolt, the Holy Light, and the kill as the Dark Ranger goes down again. The Coil hitting the Paladin hard, but it's not enough to take him down. Staff of Sanctuary being used, Cripper on the Knight, he falls, but the Paladin survives at least for now. 46 supply for Lex right now. He still has the statues. He still has his army. 2 heroes to rely upon. Lich not on 5 just yet, so no level 3 coil for him. But again, Coil Nova onto the Death Knight, and down he goes. Mountain King needs to be careful. Way too far out here. Needs to be really careful. Gets the Stormbolt hit, but here's the cripple and the attempt to TP away with a mass teleport as the Archmage is level 6, but it's too late. Mountain King just a little bit too YOLO, and he falls. 46 supply for Lex, 29 for Death Note. Death Note is on the ropes right now. He's still mining, but for how much longer? The Undead army is already starting to move in here. And the Archmage, at least with a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Here comes the Nova again, the mass nuke potential. Coil Nova all day, every day, trying to drop him as quickly as he can. And Death Note is far behind right now, as Lex is trying to take that base down. Another quick Coil, takes down a Priest, tries to eliminate him as quickly as he can here. Necromancers everywhere, looking for fresh corpses, and for more and more skeletons and mages to rise. Of course, another huge aspect, I mean, we're talking about Khaldor's Pipe of Insight the entire time, mostly about heroes, but it's just such a fantastic tool right now, in addition to your statues, if you're also trying to play with Necros. And as you can see here, this one's a goner. No more mining. Mining's over. Nothing. Nothing left for DeathNote. He's relying on his heroes. He's getting that Mountain King back. And don't get me wrong, those guys are scary right now, but what else can he do? He has a couple of units down here to interrupt the mining that we're seeing from Lex as well. And if he actually is able to drop all of this, then we're not having anything left here. If he kills all the Acolytes, it's basically at this point, I don't want to say a game, but it's like a really tricky position. He can always TP out right now. If he gets the gold mine, there's no mining left for either one of them. He needs to get out of here soon though. Coil Nova already trying to go for the Paladin, but yeah, he gets it. He can mass teleport out, and that's exactly what he does. And that means that we are not going to see any mining anytime soon for either one of them. Let me double check. No Acolyte. He can't even unsummon anything. If he sells a couple of items, what does he have right now? He could sell a few items, try and train an Acolyte, and then unsummon several structures to maybe get another gold mine in. But that is really, really playing for the long game here, and that would be nearly insane. That Lich is about to hit level 5, though. What about the Dark Ranger? Can you at least get that back? Yeah, Dark Ranger is going to be back in a bit, but let's switch over to the human player. Mountain King on the way now to Paladin on 5. Gets another Staff of Sanctuary. He has 2 Staffs of Sanctuary right now. And it's going to be great for him. Sells the Belt of Giant Strength. Tries to get a bit more gold in here. If he can buy more items and just play around, that would be fantastic for him. But now it's just like skeleton heaven right now. They're everywhere. The army of the dead are walking the earth right now. And we're still seeing no mining. It's all about scouting. Both of them have no income. 0 income. It's basically heroes against heroes. 25 supply for DeathNote against the 52 supply that we have for Lex. And of course the big advantage for Lex at this point is he has Obsidian statues. And he has still a couple of Necromancers left. There's 4 Necromancers in the army. Fiends and also Abominations. It's a great position for him to be in the long run for sustainability here. But can they pull it through? Also, there's another spot. Actually finds it. Finds the spot and immediately starts creeping here. Starts creeping and tries to see what else he can get. That's the final creep spot on the map outside of the smaller ones that we're seeing down here. Outside of that, there is little left. Nothing left, actually. So what's happening here in terms of item? Mountain King also back, by the way. Could just pull those 2 back, get more experience for the Mountain King. Bit of a mistake, actually, to not pull the Archmage and the Paladin back at this point in time. All the XP on... Ah, there we go. All right. Waits a little bit longer and makes sure that the Mountain King gets all the experience. And there we have it. Talisman of Evasion. Not too bad, actually. I mean, mostly you are dealing with nukes against your heroes, but if you need the money, you can sell it always. If not, it's another sustainability item. Decides to sell it regardless. So with that now, he has a bit more gold that he can use. And let's see what we're going to have. 1 potion of lesser invulnerability. It's all about survivability for him right now. But yeah, this is the army. The last survivors against the hordes of the dead. Insane game. And I'm so happy to see Necromancers too. Here comes the Nova. Cripple already on the Mountain King. Immediately the Spellbreakers, putting that to some good use. But this is a massive army here. Coil again. Cripple. The entire time. Just one spell after another. And the Paladin has to light him up. You have to try and take those Necromancers down right now. It's the only play. Take them down as quickly as you can. Light them up, but it's the pressure on the Death Knight, actually. He tries to take him down. Coil Nova and the silence on the Paladin. This could be it. Cripple as well. And he is... Oh, staffed out. Was trying to see if he can get out of the silence and then use his spells again, but that wasn't the case, so he gets staffed out. But the Stormbow, the Death Knight, the DK goes down, the Death Knight is down, he makes the play, the Mountain King, the Nova hits him hard, and the immediate follow-up, but no one dying just yet. The Potion of Lesser Invulnerability being used, better safe than sorry, but now the Undead army is moving in. Lex knows that he needs to make the play, he needs to make it now. He lost the DK, he can't buy him back, he doesn't have any income. He needs to finish the game as fast as he can, especially since we're still having the Paladin here to the right side and the Mountain King low. Could try to use the Staff of Sanctuary again, but here comes Lex. This is the only moment in time when he can make a play, and he knows it as well. Immediate move out, and he holy shit. Gets out with a mass teleportation. Teleports everything with him, and now without the Death Knight, Lex is in trouble. No, oh my god, he actually gets the gold mine back. He's gonna have mining. He did exactly what I said earlier. He sold items, he got the Acolyte, unsummoned stuff. He cancels! He actually cancels. Oh, what? No, what the fuck? What just happened? The Archmage just walks straight into that army. He doesn't pay attention. It's somewhere else on the map. And then Lex is saying like, what the hell? Coil Nova to the face, the Archmage down. Holy light on the Lich. Holy cow, what's going on? The Lich is down, the Archmage is gone, the heal on the Mountain King. It's still not over. 39 supply against 23, but the Archmage gone. And here comes the Stormbolt, the surround attempt, trying to go for the Dark Ranger. What the hell just happened? The Archmage just moves straight into the Undead army and Lex doesn't even know what's going on. He's just like, what the hell, dude? Turns around and bodies the AM just before he can use the town portal. What a Christmas present. Christmas come early, but here's the Holy Light again. The Dark Ranger is in trouble. The Dark Ranger is on the run, still trying to escape. Yeah, and another Holy Light to the face. Down she goes. Level 6 Paladin. This has to be game. This has to be... No way. So round on the Mountain King. He's trying to drop the Mountain King. Mountain King gets healed again. If he somehow can kill him, that would be fantastic, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see that happening. 2 heroes still there for the human player. DeathNote with a place right now. Cripple everywhere. Spellbreakers doing their job, but unit after unit is falling on the side of Lex. And he just doesn't have anything left. He's trying to get the Death Knight back into the game. He's trying to get the DK back. He knows that there is no way for the Archmage to come back either. It's really all about who takes this. I'm not sure what... Do you have Lex too? No? Well, one guy doesn't. Another Stormbolt. And that's another dead Necromancer. Legs can't move. I'm not sure if it makes a difference at this point. The Death Knight could maybe change things a little bit. There is no Archmage, meaning there's no mana regeneration. And you still have statues. There is still a chance. It's an outlier's chance. It's nearly impossible to win at this point. But he might just try and make those plays. Keep in mind, he has the... He had it on the Lich. He actually had the aura on the Lich, so he has to rely on statues alone. But there's nothing else that the human has either. He has one Staff of Sanctuary and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else. He's trying to see if he can maybe somehow get that Archmage going back into the game, but this game is insane. I mean, Necromancers alone is already such a pleasant thing to see here, but then this constant back and forth, the huge mistake on the side of DeathNote as he doesn't pay attention to his Archmage and loses it to a quick combo when things looked hopeless for Lex, but then he's still able to take down the rest of the Undead army. He can't sell that. It's not going to be enough. It's not enough. He's at 283, and it's just not enough, guys. That means that he just lost his Staff of Sanctuary. He lost the Staff of Sanctuary and he still doesn't have enough to buy any of those heroes back. Has a couple of flying machines just scouting and the Death Knight is back to business. And he's trying to get more. How much money does he have? Oh shit, he's at 300. He can actually pull it off. Lex can actually get a second hero back. No way! He's gonna get the Lich back. He has statues. Again, like this is the linchpin right now. The statues right now are everything because there's no mana regeneration on his opponent's side. So if you can just nuke the entire time, wait until they are out of gold, that would be one of the plays. It's not over yet. It looked over several times. It's not over yet. Here comes the first one. First coil, and it just keeps on doing that. Gets the statues in the back and keeps on using one coil after another. Once that Lich is back, there is definitely a chance for him to make a comeback here. The Archmage aura was so important for the combo for DeathNote. Getting those nukes in with the Holy Light and the Stormbolt was absolutely crucial. This game is wild. This game is absolutely wild. Lex is at 29 supply and he's going up against 25. Did he buy anything? No, he's going for a few units, trying to get a few more Spellbreakers. But yeah, once more. Death Knight looking for the coil, doesn't find it right now. He has time. He wants that Lich back. That's what I call long distance mining. 2 peasants left and he's just trying to get some money back to business. Oh my god, what a game. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Statues could win it. Statues could win it right now. I mean, Lex has this, right? It's gonna take him a while, but this must be it. This must be game for him. Once that the Lich is back, if you can keep him alive against the nukes initially, then you should be fine. You just Nova the hell out of your opponent. He still has Cripple. With the Lich back to business, this has to be his game now. Lich, does he have an... How much money does he have? Guys, he might actually have enough money if he sells items to get the Dark Ranger back too. He could sell a few of those items. Claws +9, Circlet, Mantle. He gets the potion. No. Ah, he sold his shop. No way! He actually gets the Dark Ranger back. And here come the coils. He's starting to nuke. He needs to be careful. He can't lose anything right now. If he loses the game right now, if he loses a hero before the Dark Ranger is back, that would be insane. He's trying to get some damage in, but again, like the safe play for him would be to just retreat. Just back the hell out of there. Make sure that you get the Dark Ranger back, and then play around there. Long distance Stormbolt. Oh, there needs to be a coil soon. Dark Ranger, and I mean DeathNote, he needs to know that he has to go right now. He needs to go. There's the coil. He needs to make the play now. The longer you wait, the worse off you are. He should have gone a long time ago already, before the Lich is back. But right now, he's still trying to fight it. That has to be Lex's game. That big mistake losing the Archmage, definitely the huge turnaround in the game here. And then waiting for the Lich to make a reappearance back in the game, that could definitely be the one thing that is going to lose the human player this one after all. Coil Nova again, body blocks with Cripple, and also on top of that the Abomination. Spellbreakers doing whatever they can to immediately get rid of it, but still, Coil Nova again to the face, once, twice, the entire time, and there is just no way, especially with the Dark Ranger going back, this has to be over. Another massive coil onto the Mountain King, and the MK is in so much trouble right now. Look at it, there it is, the kill against the Mountain King, and this has to be game. This is it. GG called, DeathNote leaves, and this is victory for Lex as he claims it in an insane Undead versus Human, featuring Necromancer and everything that an Undead heart desires.